G'day guys, Mac with the Circle, and today we're going to be looking at the Ebon Keshig newest release for the White Scars from Forge World. And I have a couple of boxes here. I wouldn't pay regular retail price, so I got friends over in the UK to help me out. They know who they are. Thank you. Because regular retail price in Australia is of course significantly marked up because it's Australia. Has nothing to do with taxes, anything like that, again, because someone always says that in the comments. So, the one on the right, this fellow here, is an actual Forge World Ebon Keshig. They're a nice model. The improvement I've made to him is putting a White Scars helmet upgrade into him, because, well, as you'll see, the helmet's a very underwhelming part. But this kit has some weird things about it that I wanted to talk about, which is the whole reason I'm making this video. This fellow here, on the other hand, is actually a Justinian Terminator from the Sons of Horus, with a White Scars head, a Grey Knight's halberd cut down, and 3D printed shoulder pads from Attila Y collar, and I think it's Dark Elder banner. It's been snapped many times, even though it's pinned, so it's a bit glossy from glue. Which of these has more character? For a conversion, I have to say I really like my own stuff, but I also like what Forge World's done. It's a toss-up for me. I guess I'm going to be biased because I'll always like my own thing. I don't like these glaives though. These glaives look so, I don't know, ugly. Just that whole, it's almost like just a boring chopper on the end. Whereas they used to have these nice sort of graceful shapes which I carved into this halberd with sort of this double recurve on the back. I don't know, that Chinese Guangdao sort of styling looked really nice instead of this machete on a stick look, like a banana machete or something. Yeah. So obviously I built one, it's a bit of a test model. Here we have a Justinian Terminator. So again, we're talking character, a bit of character in the Legions. I feel like the Justinian just has more character, despite being the oldest kit in the Horus Heresy, 8 years old. He even has a top knot. Why couldn't they put a top knot on the scars? If any Legion would have them, it would be the scars. The little spikes on the legs and such is just a great little touch. Even though it's more or less a standard Cataphractii Terminator with just a Sons of Horus icon. Those few little spikes, different belt buckle, little Sons of Horus icon on the chest, and just one eye, shoulder, and the head. Those few tiny differences mean the world. I don't know why it works on the Justinian, but it doesn't overly work on the Ebon Keshig. Now again, this is going to sound a bit weird, maybe even whingy, I don't know, but I'll get more into it now. So down here we have, well, some disassembled bits. An Emperor's Children Phoenix Terminator, 7-year-old kit. Body, pair of legs, 2 arms, 2 shoulder pads, and a head. And of course there'd be a weapon normally, but I've used that Phoenix Spear for something else. So in fairness, I've left out the White Scars glaive, but their legs come as 2 parts. They have the 2 arms. The torso is a chest, a top plate, a back plate. They've got a head and the 2 shoulder pads. So that's essentially the plastic Tartarus kit. In fact, I do have a box of bits just back here. Big tub full of bits. Excuse the rattle that would make in the filming. But as I check it, yeah, that's pretty much how the plastic bits come. So I'll pull out some now. Plastic Tartarus. I'll chuck it in the middle so it's easy to see. Plastic Tartarus. Some legs. Gotta figure out which ones match which leg. Joy of joys. Of course, the Tartarus Terminator. plate comes in separate parts as well. Need the chest piece. Okay. And let me get a regular Tartarus head out. There's a plastic Tartarus head. Have I got any others in this bits box? No, there are Thousand Suns 40k Tartarus heads. Oh, and there's the one I want. Let me put that out. Okay. So, sorry for that interruption in our video, but I'll keep it all in because I want to see you guys see my thinking process. Plastic legs, 2 parts. That seems familiar. Unlike the 7-year-old kit, which came as 1 part, even with the loincloth, the legs for the Keshig are 2 parts. Just like the plastic kit. Now, this does not help with posability at all because these are a socketed leg, and the sockets of the legs actually go together, like so. So, 7 years ago, we know that Forge World had the ability to make legs a single piece. Alright, let's move along. What about the heads? Heads are one of my favourite things. Here we have a Phoenix Terminator head. I can get this right up in the camera if I focus it. So you can see quite a bit of detail in that. Little rivets down the center of the face. Very different to the plastics. Forgive the dirty hands. I finish work at 6:30 at night, and this is straight after work. This is the Ebon Keshig head supplied. Does that scream white scars to anyone? No, of course it doesn't. Let's compare that to a stock standard plastic head. Something looks familiar here. Alright, what about shoulder pads? Emperor's Children shoulder pad. What have we got? Palatine Aquila with the jewel encrusting the end. Obviously a bit of a miscast from Forge World here with this dimpling. But you can see it's very fine trim, fleur-de-lis, very detailed. On the Ebon Keshig, our Legion shoulder pad, looks like this. So plain with a Legion icon and this weird sort of almost like a power cable seems to be the styling they've gone for with the white scars. Not sure why. But yeah, very plain. Alright. What about the second shoulder pad for the Emperor's Children? It is functionally identical, but come on camera, play the game. Functionally identical with the jewel in the end, just no Palatine Aquila, and it's got 2 of the fleur-de-lis icons. The White Scars second shoulder pad has this sort of Chinese stylized icon, the sort of pattern you would see in their architecture. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Nowhere near as stylized as the Emperor's Children, of course. Alright, let's compare chests. The Palatine Aquila, of course, dominating this model, and this very fine detail filigree coming around here, around the sides of the armor and on top of the armor. And I compare that to the White Scars chest. Alright, can I also compare that to a Tartarus plastic chest? Well, this is a Sergeant's one, so it's got a little bit of extra stuff on it, but something really starting to stand out here, and I think I know what my problem is. interesting thing to note, there's actually more detail in the 7-year-old kit than the new Keshig. These little knobs here, the depth in this little socket is much more pronounced because these were hand sculpted. This other one is a digital sculpt, 3D printed master. And there's your problem. This one has the exact detail you put into your modeling putty. This one here is the quality you can print out of a machine, which is very high quality, mind you, but it has its limitations. And if I compare this back torso with the plastic torso, well, here we go. One's upside down. They are functionally almost identical. So I'm thinking, like right down to the depth and level of, wow. Okay. So I'm thinking what's happened here, if I may be so bold. Also, I'll just show quickly the top of the Phoenix Terminator armor versus a stock plastic Tartarus versus a Ebon Keshig. If I can pick it up. Oh, I gotta work around a camera. Yeah. So the Ebon Keshig is basically they just pulled up the CAD files for the existing Tartarus Terminators here. And what did they do? Well, on the legs, they slapped on this bit of armor plate here. Didn't even bother to change the belt buckle even. It's exactly the same. Put on this little Chinese symbol, which is like a 2-second job in CAD. They did put this little bit of trim in on the inside of the thigh. On the torso, they kept it identical everywhere except for the very front. On the very front of the torso, they added in this Legion symbol, little circle on top. In fact, I'll show you the different combinations. So that's the one we were just looking at. It's Legion icon, a couple of slots. The slots are present on one of the plastic Terminators anyway. This is the guy I've made. Just a little rope lanyard with a tooth and a token. Standard studs, which again are a standard thing on the plastic Terminators. Legion icon. This guy, 2 horses, a 5th Legion symbol, and a circle. That is the most detailed of the 5 torsos provided. On the shoulders, they've added the little strip of trim and the Legion icon. The heads are stock Tartarus Terminator heads. On the other shoulder, of course, a Chinese icon. They have added a couple of details, pretty much entirely consisting of a Legion icon and this Chinese symbol. Legion icon, Chinese symbol, and that little bit of trim, which has been very quick to sculpt. This, when people say to me that Forge World needs to charge these high prices, Games Workshop needs to charge these high prices, you don't understand how much it costs to sculpt things, I refer to things like this, because this was not a heap of sculpting time. This was smashed out in an afternoon by someone working there, surely. I can't conceive of the fact that these took days to sculpt. They have literally just taken the plastic Terminators, an existing file already sculpted, and just added a couple of little bits to it. Now, I'm not angry about this. I know I probably sound angry about this. I'm not angry at all. I just think, how can you justify the cost and say things like, it's because of the sculpting time? Sculpting time wasn't really put into this, at least in my opinion. Again, this is something you would bash out in an afternoon at most. So, there is nothing crazy detailed about this squad. In fact, the thing that probably took the most time was these strips of cloth on the sides of the legs. And the weapons are, for me personally, terrible when I compare them to, say, the old White Scars miniature. I mean, hell, since I'm in my hobby room, give me one tick, guys. This is how you know I've been in this hobby for too long. These are boxes of old White Scars miniatures from the early 2000s. White metal, still. Hand sculpted white metal miniatures. These guys have more unique touches than regular Marines, like Legion Icon, Mark V power armor, a couple of teeth hanging off it, a tassel, clearly a scimitar type sword, and of course Mad Fu Manchu mustache going on here. He's a cool dude. And this is just a standard White Scars sergeant or Marine. He is not the elite Legion Terminators and the bodyguard of the Khan. So, you know, I feel a little cheated. If I can pull out a model that's nearly 20 years old now and go, this has just as much iconography, if not more, than the newest state-of-the-art computer-animated design, which has just got shoulders blue tacked on, by the way, because I need to paint it. Yeah. I, of course, have swapped out the helmet, as I said, for some White Scars helmets I have sitting around, because, frankly, this helmet supplied does not scream White Scars to me. I'm sorry, but this is fucking pathetic, Forge World. This seems more like White Scars, even just for the top knot. So, in future, put a little more effort in, Forge World. That's all. Don't try and justify things like saying, oh, you know, we had to sculpt it, it took so much time and effort, and no, it didn't. This is lazy. This is a plastic kit, right down to the fact that all three parts of the torso line up exactly with the plastic parts. Like, you just copied the plastic bits, even in your mold, even though 7 years ago, or 8 years ago in the case of, you know, Justirian, you had the technology to mold one-part torsos, to mold one-part legs, not this two-part legs. You deal with it, because right now we have resin with none of the pros of the plastics, modular resin with none of the pros of the plastics, even little things like the arms, like compare a Phoenix Terminator arm, again, hand sculpted 7 years ago, focus camera, focus, with this arm here. You'll clearly see the difference between the two. One has this extra filigree and trim around the shoulder socket. This one is plain. Also, one has plain forearms. The other one has these golden eagle wing fan braces. So clearly someone gave more of a shit here. It reeks of laziness. That's the whole point of this. I'm not even upset. I like these models. I just think they needed a little bit of extra flavour, and just such a little thing as changing the head immediately changes the look of this model for me. If I compare the head that I've put on with the head on the original that they did, I think the actual White Scars helmet is a better choice. For me personally, anyway. I think it looks better. Also, for those who are wondering where I've been, what I've been up to, different work hours, of course. I'm an engineer at a plastics factory, which means I spend a lot of time at work, new job role, and I'm not getting home till late, about 7 o'clock at night. And I've also got a new dog. So we've not only got the girl, Willow, German Short-Haired Pointer, but also Hunter, another German Short-Haired Pointer. Very much a last-minute deal. And he's absolutely amazing. And of course, brand new puppy, they pee inside, they need constant supervision, they're full of energy, and they need training. So for the last couple of weeks, and probably for the next 2 weeks or so, I will be spending a lot of time looking after the little guy, and then once he's sort of settled into a routine, you'll get more content. So do bear with me, guys. I'm sure anyone who's owned an animal before, a young pup or kitten, will understand exactly what it's like. Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for watching me just discuss some thoughts about 8-year-old models versus brand new, state-of-the-art, top of the line computer animated models. See you all next time.